Well, hello and welcome. It is the Nisha Jackson Show. I'm Rusty Humphries. That's Nisha Jackson. We got a guest, Nisha.
Yes, we do.
His name is Austin. And Austin, you're into inhaled supplements and stuff. We're not going to do anything like the cocaine or anything crazy like that, right?
No, he's not inhaling it.
No.
This is not inhalation. This is under the tongue.
Because I see inhaled supplements too. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to get out of here. Nisha, go ahead and you take over. Before we do, would you please subscribe? Hit the subscribe button right now and subscribe, get the notification, and share this with your friends. All right, I'm gone. Go ahead, take it over.
All right, Austin Sherwood, you're considered the health hero or known as the health hero. How in the world did you get into the supplement business?
Okay, so I actually was on the med school track for a while. I got my bachelor's in biochemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And right at the end of my college career, I was in a really bad car accident that put me in the hospital, and I had neurosurgery, and it was crazy. But one of the effects of that was I woke up and I thought, I don't want to spend the next 8 years of my life, which could or could not happen, going to med school.
Right.
So I kind of changed trajectories. But I loved studying biochemistry, learning about the body, physiology. One of the unique things about being human is we all have the experience of having a body. So it's really cool to learn about that and know about it. And especially going through my undergrad, it was so interesting to learn about, especially like anatomy and physiology, learning about these things where it's like, oh my goodness, here's your liver, and this is what your liver does, and everyone has one. And you can go all the way into adulthood and not know anything about your body. So just love that, and I wanted to keep kind of going down that trajectory with health. That's kind of how I got into the supplement world.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we talk a lot on our show about supplements. I own medical clinics here in Oregon, and we're a preventative medicine company. So we do a lot of work with our patients on taking them from a really diseased state, very sick, or even just not feeling well, like not even having enough energy. And then we can identify their deficiencies, nutrient deficiencies, hormone deficiencies, and get them back on track. But one of the things that you talk about, you actually have one of my most favorite supplements, which is glutathione. And so we have to talk about glutathione because I love that supplement. And I love the research that's been done on glutathione and the very unique qualities of that supplement. But you also are a big promoter of how to improve energy. And that's a huge topic on our show, and something that seems to be the number one reason why people even go to medical clinics today is I don't have any energy. I'm just hitting the wall in the afternoon. I feel terrible. So tell us a little bit about how you talk to people about how to increase their energy.
So energy is such an interesting thing. I heard like one of the most interesting thoughts, I think, around this is when we realize that energy doesn't come from food. And that sounds kind of crazy, but a good example I heard once was, if you're going along and you just have a regular day and all of a sudden your significant other calls you and breaks up with you, what happens to your energy? It just plummets, right? And same thing if you are, let's say you're in the dating world and all of a sudden you get a text from somebody who you broke up with a while ago and it ended badly, and they say, hey, I want to get back together again. All of a sudden you have all this energy, right?
Right.
And it's such an interesting thing. Energy is one of those things you have to tend to, and your health is definitely tied to it. But it's also, I think, a lot more to do with how you start your day and how you end your day, the quality of sleep you're getting. And even with food, it has a lot more to do with the micronutrients and the actual balance of macronutrients than it does just the food you're eating.
Right.
And so one of the great hacks, obviously, with supplements is you can find supplements that give you better energy. Glutathione is definitely one of them. Cleanses the cells and, gives you more energy through that way because your body's not fighting off as many toxins and pathogens and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We also have like a B12 spray, which is awesome. That's like 4 hours of just solid energy. And then we do actually have inhaled supplements. So
Rusty, you're right.
So we have two very unique supplements. We have a caffeine inhaler and a melatonin inhaler. And so one of the fun things about these is both of them help your energy. The melatonin can help you get to sleep faster than like a swallowed melatonin pill. You don't have to wait for it to go through the digestive system. And then the caffeine inhaler is unique because it doesn't have any calories. It's just like an asthma inhaler, and it just gives you a couple milligrams of caffeine, but those couple milligrams go straight into the bloodstream. And so it acts fast.
Right.
And so when we talk about energy, that's one of the things I love is our sublingual and inhaled supplements allow you to get energy really fast, right? You don't want to like start relying on a can of Coke to get you through the day, because that's going to, first of all, it's going to take 30 to 40 minutes for the caffeine to kick in. Then you have the sugar and the carbonation, and there's so much that goes into it. But we're big proponents of energy and doing things that, I don't know, they're not the obvious, right? A lot of people, it's like, oh, I feel low energy. Oh, let's go get something to eat. In reality, It's like, well, how did you sleep last night? How late were you up? When was the last time you looked at a screen before you went to bed? I think those types of things have a much bigger impact on energy levels.
Right. So do you think that people can get, obviously I know the answer to this, but I want you to say it. What do you think that people can get too much vitamin therapy?
Yes, I think so.
So what do you say about that with people that, oh, wow, this works. I'm going to keep using it all day long, or I'm going to use it every day, 10 times a day?
Yeah, I think there's some things that in our modern world, for example, trace minerals are critical. And those are one of those things that we're just going to be supplementing the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how good you eat, the food quality has just dropped off. And we just, it's like, I know people who eat religiously healthy and they exercise all the time, and then they go get their blood work done and they're still deficient in some trace minerals. So I think there are things like that
right.
It's like, you got to supplement those the rest of your life. Other things, I definitely think you can overdo it. And it depends a lot on your body type. There's a couple of books out there that talk about different body types and how the hormonal glands kind of but dominate that body type, right? So for me, I'm a T type, or some people call it an ectomorph. And I've experienced that. Like so one of the things about that body type is I love stimulating things. I love sweets. I love caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been times actually where I drank an energy drink and I literally felt my thyroid just kind of like, oh, you're really pushing it here,
Yeah, right.
And then there's also the issues with addiction and, headaches. People get so hooked on caffeine and sugar. And then the second you try and go off of that, it's like you just crash. So
yeah, that's right. So what do you, I know that you like to talk about how to improve sleep and help people with their sleep. What are some tips that you like to share about sleep? Because that's another huge problem today, is people waking up throughout the night, not being able to turn their brain off when they go to sleep. So what are your tips on that?
So the hour before bed is a big deal. And this stuff is only coming out recently because now everybody has their smartphone and their tablets and their screens. But if you cannot look at a light emitting screen an hour before bed, that will improve your sleep significantly. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard one to kick because everybody has their alarms on their phones, and it's all we can do to be like, oh, let me just check before I go to sleep to make sure, my brother didn't text me or something, whatever conversations you had going. So that's a big one. Another one that I think is even less shared these days is just the regular overhead lights. Up until Thomas Edison really standardized the electric light bulb, humans didn't stay up super late because it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to read by candlelight for hours? That's tiring just, on your eyes, on your brain.
Right.
But evolutionarily, we're wired to go to bed when it gets dark. And we're the first species to ever say, nope, we're going to make our own rhythms. We're going to keep the lights on. And that's really what allows us to stay up super late. So even the overhead lights, turning those off and just going by lamplight or just softer lights once the sun goes down can make a big difference in your sleep quality.
Right. Yeah. Following the melatonin patterns really does make a difference. Let's talk I know we want to get to the supplements that you have, but I want to talk a little bit about how you got involved with the supplements as far as glutathione goes, because that's not something that most people know about is glutathione. So let's just talk a little bit about how you got involved with that particular supplement and what do you think that it really provides for people from a health standpoint?
Yeah, one of the cool things about glutathione is that it just has massive amounts of studies done on it. And it's so ubiquitous that we even spent an entire section of one of my biochemistry courses just on that molecule because it's found so much in nature. It's in every single cell of our bodies. And it has this antioxidant property. So it removes free radicals and it cleanses out things. But it's just interesting. We talked a lot about how it's catalytic in the sense of that it can, remove a free radical and then do it over and over again. And it has all these biochemical pathways behind it. Mm-hmm. So learning about that was really cool. And then also when we started CCL, the focus was sublingual sprays. So one of the things about sublingual supplements versus pills is that they just go straight into your bloodstream through the membranes of your mouth and under your tongue, your cheeks, and then also through the throat when you swallow them. And this is only possible with specific types of molecules and molecules of a specific size where they can just be absorbed straight through the cell walls and pass through those membranes. And so one of the cool things about glutathione is it has that capability. And the other interesting thing that I learned in biochemistry about glutathione is it's a tripeptide. So it's actually 3 amino acids that are linked together. Mm-hmm. And what that means is if it goes into your stomach has all these enzymes that break down your food, and there's one specifically for protein. And the protein enzymes, their job is to chop those amino acids apart. So if you take glutathione through your mouth into your stomach, it's just going to get broken up into its individual amino acids, which is great. Your body will still absorb it. But to get it into the cells, you have to get it past that digestive pathway. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we made the sublingual glutathione. Mm-hmm. And there's been studies done on sublingual sprays that show that it does get into the bloodstream really quickly and increase the amount and stuff like that.
I first became knowledgeable, I don't know how many years ago, at a big functional medicine conference in Vegas, and they were giving out samples. One of the booths was giving out samples of glutathione spray. And my daughter was with me, and she had been walking in these hills and she had these terrible blisters on her feet. And I said, we should just spray some glutathione on it because glutathione is supposed to cure everything, right? Let's just spray it all over your feet. And I'm not kidding. The next morning, all of her blisters were gone, like completely gone. These were like bad blisters. So I've been a big fan of it. We've used it in our offices when we combine it with ascorbic acid and use it as a spray topically for especially skin problems. And it's been
we have a lot of people do that too.
Yeah, but we also give it IV and IM. So that's great. I love that you have that. So if somebody wants to go and check out your products, what website would we suggest that they go to?
It's cclsupplements.com. C as in cat, L as in Lima. Yep, cclsupplements.com.
All right, we'll have that on our tagline too for people to see. Is there anything else that you'd like to just share with us before we end the show today?
I think health can be a very daunting thing for some people, whether it's weight loss or energy levels, lack of sleep, and I think it can also be so easy. Making easy changes every day. Could be to the vitamins and minerals you're taking. It could be to your sleep schedule. Those things go a long ways. And I think just focusing on one small change each day or each week really can turn your life around. So I think that's the thing, is just make those small changes.
Right. So avoid the computer, avoid the lights in your eyes at least an hour before you go to bed, and consider going to bed earlier and maybe following the sun, following the sunset.
Yep. And try melatonin or other sleep supplements. Definitely stay away from sleep prescriptions if you can. There's a lot of science coming out about how bad those are long term.
Right.
With alcohol, that's another one. But
So you just want us to follow the advice of the great philosopher Michael Jackson. Make that change.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we sure appreciate you being here, Austin. Your website one more time.
cclsupplements.com.
cclsupplements.com. Don't forget to go to Nisha Jackson's website as well. That's nishajackson.com or onepeakmedical.com, right, Nisha?
That's
got
right.
That one too. Also, takebrandx.com is another great one. And subscribe, hit the subscribe button and the notification button. And until next time, that guy down there, that's Austin. That's Nisha Jackson. I'm Rusty Humphries, and we'll catch you next time here on the Nisha Jackson Show.